For years, Logan carried a weight no one could see. Every scar on his body told a story of battles fought, enemies slain, and the lives he couldn't save. But beneath the claws, the rage, and the relentless fight for survival, there was a secret he kept hidden. A secret even the X-Men never knew. A daughter, a child born in the shadows of his endless war. A daughter he never held, never protected, never knew. She had lived all these years under the radar, surviving in a world that had tried to break her at every turn. And yet, like Logan, she was strong, ruthless when necessary, but with a heart capable of love, a mirror of the father she had never met. The story begins in a remote Canadian town, where Logan's senses picked up a subtle disturbance. A series of violent incidents, no ordinary criminals, no mutant vendetta, something else entirely. And at the center of it, a girl, barely older than 16, with eyes that burned with the same fury he had known in himself. He saw her for the first time in the middle of a firefight. Her agility was uncanny. Her claws, not his, but inherited, emerging from her wrists in a way that made his blood run cold. Logan froze, recognizing the signs immediately. Not just her fighting style, not just the rage she carried, but the unmistakable trace of something older, something deeper. The house of Wolverine, unbroken and surviving. She noticed him too. Her eyes widened, a mixture of fear, recognition, and hope. Who are you? She demanded, voice shaking yet defiant. Logan stepped closer, keeping his claws sheathed. I could ask you the same, he replied, his voice rough, weathered by decades of pain. The truth hung heavy between them, the air thick with questions. Neither had the courage to voice. The girl, whose name was revealed to be Luna, had grown up hearing stories of a man who fought for justice, yet never for her. She had survived on scraps, learned to hide her powers, and had developed a moral code inspired by legends. Legends she now realized were real. And there he stood, the man who had shaped her destiny without ever knowing her existence. Their first conversation was tense, a battle of words as sharp as any claws. Logan wanted to protect her, yet feared the consequences of revealing his identity too soon. I've fought monsters, he said quietly, but nothing prepared me for this. Luna didn't flinch. Then you better catch up, because I'm not afraid of you or what's coming. The revelation of her parentage was gradual, unveiled in moments of danger and shared combat. Logan observed her, noticing the small quirks that were undeniably his, the grim determination, the way she would assess a fight before acting, the subtle flinch when someone raised a weapon too close to her face. Each trait was a whisper of connection, a thread pulling them together. When the final truth was spoken, the moment was silent, almost sacred. You're my daughter, Logan whispered. Not as a hero, not as a mutant, but as a man finally confronting the consequence of his past choices. Luna's eyes filled with tears, anger, and relief all at once. Why didn't you ever come for me? She demanded. Logan's jaw tightened. Because I couldn't. And because I didn't know until now. They were forced to flee together. The world a dangerous place for both of them. Villains from Logan's past sensed her presence, drawn to her latent abilities, seeking to exploit the bloodline they didn't understand. Each battle they fought side by side forged a bond that words could never create. Logan taught her restraint, strategy, and the importance of choosing when to fight. But she taught him something far greater. The courage to hope again. In a small cabin hidden deep in the Canadian wilderness, they finally had a moment of respite. Luna explored Logan's old journals and keepsakes, reading tales of his missions, his losses, and his regrets. She laughed softly at his mistakes, cried at his sacrifices, and finally understood the man behind the legend. Logan, sitting across from her, realized that fatherhood was not just protection, it was trust, guidance, and letting go. They trained together, their combat styles merging into a deadly dance. She inherited his ferocity, but tempered it with her own wisdom. He watched her soar, fight, and lead, and realized that perhaps this was the redemption he had been seeking all his life, not through saving the world, but by shaping the future of his own blood. But the path was not without danger. A figure from Logan's past, a ruthless mercenary who had hunted him for decades, discovered Luna's identity. A battle ensued, fierce and unrelenting. Logan and Luna fought as one, their synchronization uncanny, their bond undeniable. For the first time, Logan fought not as a lone wolf, but as a father, and the stakes had never been higher. During the battle, Luna was struck, leaving her vulnerable. Logan's fury erupted in a storm of claws and raw emotion. The world around them seemed to shatter as he unleashed decades of pent-up rage, defending the daughter he had never known existed. When the enemy fell, Logan cradled Luna, realizing that the cost of love was nothing compared to the pain of losing it. After the battle, Logan and Luna shared their first quiet moment of connection. He spoke of his fears, his regrets, and the love he had never admitted, while she shared her own struggles growing up without him. It was a raw, emotional exchange, the kind of conversation that heals wounds and creates unbreakable bonds. Over time, Luna began to embrace her legacy. She chose her own path, not merely as Logan's daughter, but as a hero in her own right. Together, they traveled the world, helping those in need, dismantling criminal organizations, and leaving a trail of hope. The public slowly learned of her existence, and she became a symbol of the next generation, carrying forward the lessons, the courage, and the strength of Wolverine. Logan watched her grow with pride, a silent guardian finally able to take a step back. He realized that being a father was different than being a hero. It was guiding without suffocating, protecting without controlling, and loving without reservation. Luna's journey was his redemption, a chance to undo decades of isolation and regret. In quiet moments, they shared stories of the past, battles fought, friends lost, mistakes made. Logan admitted his fears, his loneliness, and the pain of a life spent running from his own heart. Luna listened, learned, and forgave, understanding that even legends are human. Their final mission together before the story's present climax involved confronting a global threat, a coalition of mutants seeking to exploit Luna's powers for domination. The battle was monumental, spanning cities, forests, and oceans. Logan and Luna moved as a unit, each anticipating the other's actions, each saving the other from death multiple times. It was a testament to their bond, proof that family could forge strength beyond measure. As the dust settled, Logan stood over his daughter, bruised, bloodied, and exhausted. "You're ready," he said simply. Luna looked at him, eyes shining with determination. "I'm ready, Dad, because I have you." Logan nodded, realizing that this moment was not about him anymore. It was about her future and the legacy they would leave behind together. Finally, they returned to the quiet cabin. The world outside still dangerous, still unpredictable. But within these walls, they found peace. A father and daughter learning to live together, heal together, and fight together. Logan no longer carried the weight alone. He had someone to fight for, someone who would carry his lessons forward, and someone who would remind him every day that even the strongest wolves need family. The story closes not with an ending, but a beginning. Luna, the lost daughter of Wolverine, embraced her powers and her father, ready to step into the world as both a hero and a protector. Logan, once haunted by regrets and solitude, found hope anew. Together, they were unstoppable. A new chapter in the legacy of the X-23, a father-daughter bond stronger than any weapon, and a story of love, redemption, and the courage to face the world no matter how dark it seemed. Because sometimes the greatest battles are not fought with claws and fury, but with trust, forgiveness, and the quiet determination to finally be the family you were always meant to be.